Welcome to part 35 of Dynasty Warriors 9, and we've been on chapter 11 for the last 4 parts. This will pretty much be the end of chapter 11 as we take on the last mission of the Wuzhang Plains, and that's the Battle of Wuzhang Plains itself. All we have to do is just simply defeat Sima Yi. However, if that was so easy, we wouldn't be in a stalemate and Zhuge Liang wouldn't have kicked the bucket after the battle. Needless to say, the way Romance made it out, Zhuge Liang fought to the bitter end. But in the end, he just kept expediting attacks until he wore himself out. And the funny part about this is, Wuzhang Yang, the character who is new to this game, was the person that told Cao Ri to tell Sima Yi to sit back and let Shu pretty much tire themselves out. Despite the fact of Sima Yi receiving a dress. Well, that receiving a dress thing was actually real. Although it's now a real joke in Dynasty Warriors 7 Empires, which Sima Yi does mention something about having a dress for his wife that he happened to get. The fact that the dress was used as a way to provoke Sima Yi and also the Wei forces to try to attack Zhuge Liang. I mean, that's the only thing that he could be attributed for. Other than that, there are some things that he really didn't do. And by he, I mean Zhuge Liang. Although there is one important aspect that I need to bring up, the wooden oxen. To those of you who don't know about the wooden oxen, what if I told you that the wooden oxen that is so fabled throughout Dynasty Warriors, and not to mention Romance, was actually a wheelbarrow? Yeah, think about that for a second. All this time, people don't know that the wooden oxen that was debuting in this particular battle were just wheelbarrows that Zhuge Liang was forcing his troops to push through the mud. Because ironically enough, one of the victories that Zhuge Liang had was capturing an entire flood zone. I kid you not. Zhuge Liang captured a flood zone, and that flood zone ended up being the reason why most of Zhuge Liang's supplies never made it to the battlefield, because it's impossible to push a wheelbarrow through mud and soft terrain. There's no way you can. Now I know there's going to be some people that try to dispute me, but guess what? That is exactly what Zhuge Liang did. But then again, he still somehow managed to get a stalemate for the entirety of this battle, which is something that I'm surprised. I wouldn't be, actually, because Wei Yan was the commander of this entire army. That's something that needs to be said. Wei Yan was the reason why the entirety of Wuzhang Plains was nothing more than a giant stalemate. Also, by the way, I'm fighting Zhang He, not to mention Xing Chenhua. Xing Chenhua, by the way, who was eliminated in Chapter 10. Because I do believe she dies after Wuzhang Plains. However, her story ends in Chapter 10. She doesn't even get anything else after Chapter 10, but she's featured in this battle. This is going to be a reoccurring thing. I've already said this was going to be a reoccurring thing when, if I'm not mistaken, Qin Gong, who was supposed to be eliminated in Chapter 3, proceeded since Chapter 4. It's going to be an ongoing thing until finally you get to the last stage. For the record, that's going to be even more confusing because there are... Oh, god damn it. Why did I open the door? That was stupid. Anyway, for the record, there are going to be people whose chapters end right before the final battle of Qingdu, but they premiere in the Battle of Qingdu. But yo, Yue Ying her battle ends here, right here in this chapter. And to the people who played Yue Ying, they can actually attest that her chapter ends right here. Yet here's the thing, she is here until the end of the game. For at least Shu, anyway. And Jin. So I only made that tangent because this is something that, oh god, I was about to strike. Oh, damn it, that was terrible. Anyway, I only made that tangent because this is something that 9 has been pretty much doing ever since, Chapter 4, if I'm not mistaken, or at least the start of Chapter 4. And bear in mind, there are some people that also have some DLC chapters. In fact, Sao P still has a DLC chapter going on here too, so bear that in mind as well. But Sima Yi has been defeated. And unfortunately, even though he's been defeated and routed, the Shu forces are gonna be routed as well. Well, because of the obvious thing. Zhuge Liang passes away. And the only reason why Sima Yi pretty much left the battlefield because he thought that Zhuge Liang would try to fake his death for an ambush. Obviously he would.
My own weak constitution has poured cold water over our victory. Did everyone make it safely out?
All of our allies have retreated safely to our main camp in accordance with your orders, my lord. Please do not worry yourself. You must rest. My lord, I cannot stand seeing you like this.
Since leaving the Hermitage, I have devoted every moment of my life to the realization of Master Liu Bei's grand ambition. For that noble cause, I have been prepared to make any sacrifice. As a result, I have caused great pain to so many people dear to me, none more so than you.
You have always been concerned with the lives of people in the here and now, my lord. Your negotiations with Wu and your pacification of Nanzhang were all to avoid unnecessary conflict. I defy anyone to say that anything you have done is wrong.
Yue Ying, those words are the most precious gift I could ever receive. After all, you are the one who has supported me most closely all the way.
My lord.
Yue Ying, can you do me one last favor? I would like all forces to retreat to Chengdu. We must regroup before attempting one more northern campaign. Could I ask you to call each officer to come and see me here once the preparations for the withdrawal are complete?
Of course, my lord. I will let the men know.
Yue Ying, I am more grateful to you than you could ever know. I could never have made it this far without your support. Master Liu Bei, I am a faithless vassal. You must forgive me for failing to fulfill the promise I made you.
could... Master Zhuge Liang...
What should we do? Are we supposed to continue to keep fighting somehow?
I see. No one ever considered that, did they? A battle without Master Zhuge Liang?
The Prime Minister carried on the will of Master Liu Bei and fought for a world without grief. Now, it's time that we carry on that dream.
I will fight! Liu Bei's dream must fulfill!
Yes. We must never give up on our father's dream.
We'll carry on this dream we've been entrusted with. In battle, most impressive indeed. Can you give me a minute? Hey, watch it!
I see. Zhuge Liang?
The Prime Minister was concerned for the future of our land until the very last. The land of virtue which Master Liu Bei sought, he told me that he wanted those of us left behind to strive to make it a reality.
We have been entrusted with a great task. What do you intend to do now, Zhang Wei?
Naturally, I intend to defeat Wei.
You serious?
That is the dying wish of both the Prime Minister and Master Liu Bei, and it is my fervent desire as well.
I am sure that you will bring that desire to fruition. But I want you to promise me you will not forget one thing. The land, which Father and Zhuge Liang dreamed of, was one free from sorrow. That was their true wish.
I understand. Together, we will build a land of virtue and benevolence.
Well, Zhang Wei's in charge of everything. God help this country. And speaking of God helping something, it's the end of Chapter 11, which means it's time for end of chapter eliminations. Brace yourselves, folks, because this is yet another Purge Chapter! Wei is done. Wu is done. Shu takes a big hit and Jin only loses one. Well, there is a bit of good news. At least Chapter 12's not a Purge chapter. Or at least I hope it isn't.
Zhuge Liang marches north to fulfill the dreams of the late Liu Bei. However, he faces a counterattack by Sima Yi and dies at Wuzhang Plains before he is able to push his successor, Jiang Wei, is left with no choice but to stabilize domestic affairs for a time. Wu, who had joined Shu in an attack on Wei, was in similar circumstances. Troops and commoners were exhausted thanks to the continuous fighting, and time was required to restore Wu's strength. With the attack by Wu and Shu ending in failure, Wei has a moment of peace from attack. However, there was one enemy Wei had to deal with during this period.
Jiang Wei, do you intend to embark upon your northern campaign at once?
No. The people of our land are fatigued from our repeated northern incursions. It is important to spend a little time focusing on domestic concerns.
I see. You are going to make some improvements to our own kingdom first and foremost. The people will be delighted.
Yes. And once that has been achieved, we will prepare for our next northern campaign. Have no fear. We will make preparations as soon as possible and launch another assault upon Wei.
I see. Well, I leave it all to you.
My lord!
It is easier said than done to tell him how I really feel.
Lord Liu Zhan.
Unless we rebuild our war-torn land, the northern campaign will be impossible. We will all do our best to aid the cause of the recovery of our kingdom.
Recovery program? Then you must allow me to help as well.
No, my lord. I could not ask that of you. We will divide the work between us. You must not concern yourself.
Zhuge Liang once said the same thing to me. But if we are all to pitch in, then that should include me. I want you to let me help. I may not be of much use on the battlefield, but I believe I can be of assistance in domestic matters.
My lord, I am most grateful for your concern. If it is your wish, then we would be most glad of your help. You need not finish everything yourself. Once you have completed a certain amount, please come back here and let me know.
All right. Very well. I will do my best.
Hey guys! Notice that Wei Yan is missing, right? Well, Madai ends up putting an end to him, because he apparently rebels somewhere in between. Oh, by the way, I play Madai, and you don't get to kill Wei Yan. Wei Yan's just gone. Wei Yan, on the other hand, his ending literally is him trying to rush out and face off against Wei, even though the tide's been turned. But all of a sudden, the army made a mass retreat because Zhuge Liang was dead. Remember, folks, the army was literally in control of... No, let me put it like this. Wei Yan was in control of the army. But, unfortunately, that wasn't the case. There's so many speculations on how Wei Yan had been killed. And everybody takes romance into account. But the problem with that is, if you take romance of the Three Kingdoms into account, Wei Yan literally did nothing wrong. Zhuge Liang just had a bias against the guy.
We've been having too much trouble with
and that's not even cool, man.
Could you help with
That's
that?
not cool at all. So, with that said, we're now once again starting yet another northern campaign. By the way, in the last 2 chapters, we literally covered 4 attempts by Zhuge Liang. The last 2 chapters are going to be covering all 11 of Zhang Wei's rapid failures.
What's that? You'll protect us?
All 11 of them.
Thank you.
However, there's
so
one
much.
thing I can actually give Dynasty Warriors 9 credit for. That they probably would have actually had more impact if the voice actors actually were trying. At least when it came down to the interactions between Zhang Wei and... Oh, right, I'm supposed to protect this guy. And sorry I jumped from subject to subject, but this mission I was supposed to actually protect the supplies from being attacked by wild animals. So, yeah, I made that goof up.
Beasts! I can't even move!
And there they are, the wild animals who ended up killing a majority of my, they just killed a majority of the peasants. Oh, shit! That was an accident. Goddamn wolves.
Saved! I was so scared.
Oh well. At least the commander itself is still alive, but the peasant army that was following him, not so much. Anyway, back to what I was saying. I was saying that at least the interactions between Zhang Wei and Liu Shan are much more flushed out. Instead of just him saying, "For Liu Shan, I will ride in the name of benevolence," and he constantly fails. But here's the thing. It would have been a lot better if the voice actors were better at their jobs, or probably not rushing to meet a deadline or a quota or something. Because in the end, you will start seeing Liu Shan is slowly but surely getting completely exhausted from the repeated failures of the Northern Campaign, which is taking a toll not just on him, but the people and the resources. Ooh, those wild animals almost got the guy.
I was so scared.
But enough about that. You should know that all of these interactions, it would try to at least make you feel better.
It
or
seems the beasts aren't attacking
Okay,
anymore.
that was just stupid. My whole entire character model just disappeared.
Now
That's what I was
we
saying
can grow
before
the
this
crops
glitch
from the
happened.
Prime Minister. What will they be like?
Sorry I keep jumping subjects, but again, this whole entire interaction would actually make you feel some sort of way, some sort of sympathy for Liu Shan, again, if it had better voice direction and voice acting.
I believe this mission is a success.
And also,
Exhausted.
you can wholeheartedly see that they didn't really try with the cutscenes either. All the cutscenes you see, they have people standing still having conversations, like not having any sort of expressive movements. Go back to Dynasty Warriors 7, go back to Dynasty Warriors 8, you will see how low the quality went when it came down to this game.
My lord, I am impressed.
I mean, they all make the same repeated movements over and over again, but it's still somehow a guilty pleasure because the system is a lot better. Well,
Bandits have set
the
up
system
camp
of
in base within
actually
our territory.
using strategies to
We'll need
weaken the
more
main
soldier
objective, but
numbers if we are
still.
to defeat them. I will attack the base from the west. If we had someone to attack
You
from
could
the
just,
east, we could
again,
wedge them in a pincer attack.
See where there's some good they tried to do with this game, and then some terrible things they've done with this game. And now they're coming out with an Empires, and they have no actual word of where they're releasing that. Apparently they heard enough criticism, and instead of just releasing Dynasty Warriors 9 Empires on the intended date, I think they're planning on releasing it somewhere along the lines of September. Or somewhere in the winter. I'm not so sure. But this game could have been a lot better if the developers weren't so busy trying to please game journalists. Anyway, what am I doing here? I'm gonna jump and change subjects this time. Didn't talk about what's happening on the screen. I'm actually setting up for the pincer attack and waiting for Shingsai to actually make it.
We will take them down at once.
I mean, if you make it before Shingsai, the pincer attack is going to fail, and the bandits will get a little bit stronger. But considering that it succeeded, all I just did was manage to make it to where we could just off all the bandits, no problem. And we did this in the middle of the night, and it's about to be daytime. Oh god, it's about to be daytime. There may be lens flare. I don't want that lens flare, man, because this is gonna hurt a lot of my viewers' eyes. Just saying. So, I would say get used to doing that, because that's one of the things we'll be doing after we're done with all these missions here, which is we're practically making preparations for another attempt at the Northern Campaign. However, there is just one thing I need to mention about the next mission. The Northern Campaign this time was not instigated by... Okay, the next attempt was not instigated by Jiang Wei. It was actually instigated by Cao Shuang. So that would be the fault of Cao Shuang of having to actually defend Shu. While Cao Shuang's heart was in the right place, he was dumb as a brick. Okay, no, his heart was not in the right place. Cao Shuang is an idiot. Literally thought that he could actually take down Shu in their most heavily guarded area, and ended up being defeated as an end result.
I believe this mission is a success.
Folks, let's be blunt.
I'm exhausted.
When it comes down to Cao Shuang,
The structure has taken a lot of damage.
it's only going to be a matter. It was only going to be a matter of time before his good nature turned into greed.
To get the job done.
And he had a lot of people, like pretty much his entire circle of friends, backing him up. By the way, this is where you needed the 10 lumber. And I made that mistake in the last part. This is the part right here. Because that 10 lumber was supposed to be used to reinforce the base that they're in right now. Which is probably why the enemy's gonna have a hard time trying to break through. So on that note, let's go and report back to Jiang Wei. But first, hold on. I'm contemplating on either, like, upgrading my stats or just simply going over there. You know what? I'm just gonna simply go over there. There's not much left we need to do. And for the record, we are probably gonna start the Battle of Xinxi. Xinxi, yeah, that's the name of the battle. But at the exact same time, we'll probably be finished with it.
Let's see what we've managed so far.
Mostly by part 37, I believe. No, yeah, 37. That's when we're gonna be finished with the battle. And then the real battle starts.
The people's lives miserable have been eliminated.
The one where Jiang Wei actually starts becoming more and more of a desperate person and less of a rational thinking one. As I said before, God help this country. And now, more cutscenes.
Thanks to your own wonderful efforts, my lord, Shu has regained much of its former strength. Things are not quite fully back to the way they were, but in time, peace and prosperity will return.
That is good news. I am sure the people are delighted with what has been achieved. I am also glad to have been able to make a contribution as a member of the Kingdom of Shu.
Lord Liu Chan, you are simply magnificent.
So, I suppose you intend to resume the northern campaign immediately?
I would like to keep a close eye on Wei's movements for now. Our patrols report that Cao Pi's successor, Cao Rui, is unwell. If he does not recover, Wei will fall into chaos. I believe we should wait and see if that happens.
I see. Well, I will leave all decisions regarding the resumption of the northern campaign to you.
My lord, I will continue to monitor Wei closely. Reports indicate that Cao Rui of Wei has died. Leadership has fallen to the young Cao Feng, with Cao Shuang and Sima Yi appointed as regents to guide him.
They have put a mere boy in charge. That is a cruel and heartless thing to do.
Lord Liu Chan, this is no time to be sympathizing. Cao Shuang has readied a mighty army and appears to be making preparations to invade our territory.
The leadership changes hands, and their first move is to attack us. They must not hold us in very high esteem.
I don't think that's it at all. It is said that Cao Shuang wishes to initiate conflict in order to create some achievements of his own to raise his stock.
That's the reason they're attacking? I hardly think Sima Yi would allow that to happen.
Indeed, Sima Yi would certainly put a stop to such foolish vanity. And the fact that he is unable to do so is indicative of how much his own star has fallen. And if Sima Yi is not around, then our northern campaign should be much simpler than it was in the Prime Minister's days.
Simpler? You seem awfully confident, Jiang Wei. Zhuge Liang spent his life attempting this and went to his grave as a result. It will require great sacrifice.
Of course, my lord. Please forgive me.
I see. Well, as long as you understand the gravity of the situation, for now, we must repel the invading Wei forces.
My lord, I swear I will cut down their invasion before it begins! The Wei forces are relying entirely on strength in numbers and have concentrated their troops in the center. It appears my premonition was correct.
Premonition? What do you mean?
In a mountain battle, concentrating your forces in a single location is poor strategy. If surrounded by the enemy, you will have nowhere to run. I'm sure that Master Jiang Wei has seen the Wei formation and is assured that Sima Yi is not involved in their command.
It may be that Cao Shuan is not a born leader.
Sima Yi is absent, and Cao Shuang is a mediocre helmsman. But their army is immense nonetheless. One mistake, and we will be swallowed whole. I believe we should use surprise attacks as the cornerstone of our strategy and rattle the enemy. Our scouts report that the enemy storehouses are poorly guarded. If we can claim them, we will make a significant step towards victory. The ambitions of the Prime Minister and all great men who went before are the legacy of all of us in Shu. It is time to show Wei the strength of our spirit!
Well, time for us to pretty much make Cao Shuan regret trying to gain accolades off of us. However, I made a big mistake here. Everything else would end up well, every other mission would end up being a domino effect because of the mistake I made. And what was the mistake? I should have put a portable bonfire here in the area, turned it to night, before I actually attacked the area that I'm about to go to. The night raid would actually have went off without a hitch, and me doing this epic dive would have been absolutely fantastic had it not been for the fact that the moment I step in, I would cause alert because I'm doing the mission Night Raid in the daytime. This was my fault, actually. I should have went there and gotten the mission done beforehand. But it will be a domino effect. It's probably going to be a cluster. And the only reason it's going to be a cluster because of the fact that the GPS also screws me over somewhere along the line. But this part here of me actually trying to raid the base in the middle of the day, that is my fault on a mission that's called Night Raid. Yeah, that is real freaking stupid of me. But then again, blame Koei for putting all of the mission objectives in one place. Yeah, I know, it's really stupid. Oh, and there's a runaway officer here, so might as well knock him off too. And get wrecked.
Lord Liu-chan, your bravery serves as a beacon of hope.
However, the KO count resets because after all, it's a new chapter. I mean, the last time I ended a chapter, I almost had like 4,000 KOs. Well, now it's time to pull off my biggest feat of stupidity ever. And unfortunately, the night raid failed because Dong Ai knew we were coming. Oops. So now we have no choice but to defeat Dong Ai anyway. And if I would have actually attacked at night, it would not have given Sima Xiao enough time to prepare. I've done this before and I totally forgot to put the portable bonfire on. But, ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna probably end this part here. In the next part, we're gonna continue the Battle of Xinshi in part 36. This is RV-Man 985. Peace out. And take care of yourselves. I think I screwed up big time here.